Jonathan, go ahead and tell me your first last name, which is spelled.
Jonathan Will, last name W-I-L-L. That's J-O-N-A-C-H-A-N.
Okay, Jonathan, we've been talking about some of this. What happens when the wine gets here, to the United States? How does it get here? And then, what are you guys doing beforehand? What are you guys doing when it gets here? How does this whole process work? It's a small operation and it's growing. So how is it working right now?
Absolutely, and I actually don't work directly for El Castano. I have a small company called Vigneron Wine Consulting that represents wines from small importers throughout Colorado. This is one of the 3 companies I represent. And like Danny said, what he's done is he's gone out, he's sought these small production wines. He wants to bring the flavor of Italy and what we call the terroir, the expression of the land and the expression of the people to America. Once again, nothing against any of the bigger producers, but you find more individuality. When people wake up every day in the vineyard, they are around the grapes, they make the wine, but truly the expression of the land and also the winemaker is translated into that bottle. So you're not just drinking a bottle of wine, what you're drinking is a little piece of that area.
So what happens? How do you get that, taste of Italy here to the States?
Well, to be perfectly honest, you have to have an insider. You need somebody over there. I mean, if it was easy, you just go over there and randomly find great producers and bring them back. With Danny being able to find the friends that he had in Cortona, he really had the insider scoop and was able to bring back wines that most of the big companies probably don't even know exist.
But logistically, how does it happen?
You go over there, you make a deal. Typically it takes about 5 weeks to get over here. You have customs, of course. Danny has to deal with all that, bringing it in, label approval. There's a lot of different things that go into bringing a new wine into the U.S. It's actually quite complicated, which is impressive seeing that this company, El Castano, has done so well in the very brief time that they've been working.
And then you guys have gone out and found retail outlets to sell the wine, basically, that you bring over here.
Right. Once again, I don't work directly for El Castano, but I do work with another person, and we represent these wines. So we do go into accounts. I'm an Argonaut most of the time, in fact, pretty much all the time. And I'm there helping people discover not just the wines I represent, but also wine in general. The nice thing about wine is that there's so many options out there. And the wines I represent, I think, are great. Once again, small in production. I love introducing those, but at the same time, you want to get the person the right bottle. It's just when you represent a fantastic wine like this, oftentimes the right bottle is something from El Castano or from one of the clients I represent.
What do you think has been a challenge to stop people, or obviously this is a great way of bringing smaller Italian wines to the States. How have they overcome those hurdles that maybe, obviously because it's a smaller operation, they've sort of been able to do that, but do you see this continuing to grow? Other people trying to mimic this model?
It's funny because this is kind of, this company and my company actually both work differently than what has previously been kind of the norm. So what I do is I try to provide education to people. When you walk into the domestic aisle of a wine store, you typically see the grape right on the label, the varietal, you see where it comes from. It's very easy for people to understand. When you're dealing with wines like these, people often don't know what they're getting. And at $10, it might not be a big deal, but up to $20, $30, $40, nobody wants to get a bottle home and realize they don't like it. So by providing education, letting them know what these wines are like, you can narrow down what their palate prefers, and then get them a great bottle, something that they haven't had before, a little bit more interesting.
But do you think, have there been, I don't want to say technical challenges that have prevented this in the past, do you think, or?
It's hard to say. There's been a model in the industry of things are done a certain way, and this company, El Castano, is changing that. They're doing the way that they sell the wine, the way that they represent the wine is different. And then also for what I do is once again, the educating. And often the problem has just been people don't know what they're doing. And in order to be in the wine industry, you have to spend so much time studying, you have to spend so much time being up on trends, knowing exactly what's out there. And that's why we're here. We're here to help people who can't spend every day studying about wine like I do. And so we can get them into products that they have no idea about, but they'll end up enjoying.